Let's continue to explore angles and how the relationships that we talked about in the previous video help us to solve various problems. Before we do that, let's do a quick review by making sure that we understand the relationships that we talked about in the last video. Our first one, vertical angles are blank. Well, vertical angles, we should remember, they're the ones that are formed when we take two lines and we intersect them. And that the vertical angles are going to be the ones that are across from each other, like I showed in this drawing. But key thing to remember is that these vertical angles are congruent, or they are equal to each other. Number 2, angles that share a vertex and a common side. These are angles, if I look in the picture that we've got here, they share a vertex and a common side, like right here. The one marked in red that I've just marked, and then this one marked in blue, they share a vertex and a common side, and this is known to be adjacent. These are adjacent angles. All we know is that they are side by side. It does not help us with any measurement. Number 3, the measures of complementary angles. Complementary, we need to think about corners. Corners are going to add up to 90 degrees. Number 4, the measure of supplementary angles. Supplementary angles, we should think of a straight line. And a straight line are going to add up to 180 degrees. Number 5, it's not a term that we talked about, but just for your own personal knowledge, two adjacent angles that make a straight line. These are what is called a linear pair. It simply means they are two supplementary angles that are already side by side and make a straight line. So if I look at this drawing, I could take a line and make two angles. I have angle 1 and angle 2. These are supplementary, but they, more specifically, they'd be called a linear pair because they're side by side and make a straight line. We're going to complete the chart with the correct angle measures. Now, we're given an angle that is 43 degrees. And if we need to find its complement, then we need to remember that complements are going to make corners. Means they're going to add up to 90 degrees. So to find the complement of the 43-degree angle, we need to take the 90 degrees and subtract 43. This tells us that the complement is 47 degrees. A supplement makes a straight line. So the 43 degrees angle's supplement has to help it add up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus the 43-degree angle will give us its supplement of 137 degrees. Now we come to the vertical angle. And the key thing to remember about vertical angles is that they are congruent. And that's the sign for congruency. So if I have a 43-degree angle, it is going to be congruent to another 43-degree angle. So they are the same measure. Now, I want you to use this to help us do 7, 8, and 9. And I'm going to do number 7 with you, and then I'm going to let you do 8 and 9 on your own. So number 7, I've been given the complement. So let's find the original angle, because the original angle here is my key piece of information. So what we knew about complements, they add up to 90. So 90 minus the complement is going to give me my angle. And 90 minus 41 is 39 degrees. So 39 degrees is my angle. I want to find its supplement. So a supplement has to add up to 180. So 180 degrees minus the 39-degree angle will give me the supplement. And this supplement is 141 degrees. And now I want the angles vertical. And we need to remember that vertical angles are congruent. So the vertical angle to the 39-degree angle is another 39-degree angle. Keep following the same pattern to solve 8 and 9. Okay, we're going to do 2 more problems together, and then I'm going to have you finish the rest of these notes on your own. We're going to do questions 10 and 14 because they involve going back and setting up and solving equations. We want to solve for x. The first thing that would be a good idea is to know whether or not these are complementary or supplementary. And if we look at number 10, it creates a corner. So since it creates a corner, it is complementary. And complementary angles have a sum of 90 degrees. What this tells me is that I can take my 2 angles and add them together to equal 90. The first angle that's given is 5x minus 8. My second angle given is 43. So now that we've set up our equation, we can go ahead and solve it. The first thing that we want to do in order to solve this is to combine the like terms. And in this question, 43 and negative 8 are our like terms. So we're going to combine those. We're going to leave our 5x, and when we combine 43 and negative 8, we get a positive 35. So now 5x plus 35 is equal to 90. Now we want to solve our equation. First thing we want to do is subtract 35 from both sides. And 90 minus 35 is equal to 55. So 5x equals 55. Now we're going to divide both sides by 5, and we find that x is equal to 11. So 11 is my missing number for this problem. Now finally, question 14, and then you're to work on the rest of these notes. Starting out, are these complementary or supplementary? Well, they don't make a corner, they make a straight line. So that tells me that they are supplementary, and supplementary angles will add up to be 180 degrees. So 2 angles that add to equal 180 degrees. Now let's put in our angles. Our left angle is 15x minus 12. The angle on the right is 5x minus 18. Now that I've set up an equation, let's combine like terms and solve. My like terms are 15x and 5x and negative 12 and negative 18. 15x and 5x gives me 20x. Negative 12 and negative 18 will give me negative 30. And this still is equal to 180. So now that I go to solve this, I'm going to add 30 to both sides of my equation. And I'm going to move my work up here. This tells me that 20x is equal to 210. Now I want to divide both sides by 20, and I find that x is equal to 10.5. So x equals 10.5. Now I have the value of x. On Canvas, you have the rest of your notes, and I want you to complete them. If you have any questions, I want you to contact me on Canvas, and I will do my best to help you. Just keep remembering what your vocabulary terms mean. Vertical angles are congruent to each other, meaning they're equal. Supplementary angles add to 180 degrees. Complementary angles add up to be corners, or 90 degrees. Adjacent angles are simply side by side that won't help you with their measurements. Set up your equations and solve them as you continue through this lesson.